Okay, well the reason why we're undertaking this survey is so we can understand the context behind all these fossils that we're looking at. So we really need to understand how the fossils relate to the cave and to the sediments within the cave. And so what we're doing here is we're actually recreating the cave. So what you see here is the actual, first you see the solution pipe that we came down to get into the cave. Then you can sort of stroll across the rock pile just as we've done numerous times throughout this trip. And then you sort of see the actual cave floor itself. Now what I've done here is I've started to actually model this cave floor. So you can see over here, you can see that sort of flat area where all the sediments are sort of panning out. And as well as that, you can see these two pits that we've got. So pit A, which sits below the stalactites that Min's going to show us about in a second, as well as pit B, where the eagle was pulled out earlier this morning. So do you want to show us a bit about what you're doing with the stalactites?
Sure. This is just one example of how you can reconstruct objects from images, and I've taken two photos which are slightly separated in parallel, and it produces a 3D mesh as a result, and it also textures it.
So I guess the big thing now is trying to actually combine these two methods, because this is essentially just data, but you've got a lot more detail.
Yeah, if you can export that into a format where I can import it into Blender, because that's what I use,
Yep.
and then should be able to merge the two meshes, so I can do a bunch of partial reconstructions and have that in, say, OBJ or something, and then if you can export it in something I can read, then I can consolidate the two.
Yep, that'd be cool. And so you can actually just basically just take that reconstruction you've done of the detailed areas and put them on top of the...
Yeah, because this is quite a low res, or it's a very coarse reconstruction. I can just make a higher res version, and it'd be good actually to use this because as you're moving through the different areas of the cave, if you can't see it, then you don't need the detail there. You only use the high resolution for the areas in which it's being rendered.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we can use that pretty well.
All right, sweet.
And do you have the distance measurements as well?
Yeah, I do. Just let me pull
That's
it up.
really handy.
So the width of the cave itself is about 60 meters and about 30 meters, and the length is about 60 meters.
Okay.
It's a bit hard in this program.
So is the 3D points to the nearest centimeter?
They quote sub-millimeter, but they're not actually that accurate.
Okay. So like one point would be, where's the origin that it's defined relative to?
It's defined relative to the 4 stations that I used when I was set up throughout.
Yeah. So then each one will have a set of coordinates, because you've got the different layers, and each one will have their own origin. Is that right?
Yeah, but they're all interrelated, so it's all part of the main survey. And what I'll do is, as I finish up surveying, I'll take it back to the original point, and then I can work out how much actual error I've developed through the survey.
Right. Okay.